Hello everyone, it's Duckferen07. Today we are playing Temur Inti Asmo Food. Okay, so the point of this deck is try to outvalue your opponent by one of the following ways. Okay, so the biggest engine in this deck, the biggest card advantage engine is Inti plus Underworld Cookbook. So if you have Daredevil in your hand, this means each time you make food, you exile the card from the top with Inti and you can play it until your next end step. This is great and zero mana investment card advantage. It's just very powerful. Okay, Ledger Shredder also does same thing with Inti. If you trigger Ledger Shredder by just playing your spells for 0 mana, you get extra card from top of your deck which you can play with Inti. Okay, also sometimes you outvalue your opponent by making a bunch of foods with Cookbook and Daredevil, then just playing Asmo, killing a lot of creatures. Okay, so we also have a Questing Druid in this build because I'm already playing green mana here too, because I really want Haywire Might on the side. So it's kind of it's a free splash to add a Druid in this list, because we are mostly using the red mana for the Seek the Beast, and then we often by the mid game, late game, often have Stomping Ground on the field anyway to play the Druid. So it's a good fit to this deck, but it's also kind of flex slot. You can play expressive iterations easily in this slot, and this card does a similar thing. And yeah, but Questing Druid is a creature, so that is also a kind of advantage. Blue is very good at the moment in any deck, because you get to play these 1 mana counter spells like Spell Pierce, Flusterstorm, whatever spells like that are very good in the Cascade meta. Okay, so Ledger Shredder is also very good in a deck with Asmo, Bauble, and so many 1 mana spells. And Inti, of course, a free card with Inti on the field is crazy good. Okay, that's it. A simple sideboard, some counter spells, some Alpine Moons, and some one-off tutor targets for Urza Saga and Giganta. That's it. Okay, so I had a crazy league with this deck. So first I win this round, but the MTGO crashed right after it and made this match into a draw. So I lost this game. I can't show it because the replay is lost. It doesn't let me show the replay. It was the first one of this league, but we can watch other games, and then we are going to go through some games from a different league with the same deck, of course. Okay, so let's check out this match. I was playing against a Scam. A red-black Scam feels so much weaker now that Fury is gone. Even when they start with the turn 1 Grief, it feels like a fair deck. And I didn't have much problems so far playing against this deck. Okay, so here I decide to discard the Bolt to make my Shredder a 2/4 and keep a third land and Questing Druid. That seemed like a pretty good way to start this game. I decide to go attack with Shredder, not play Asmo this turn, just go for the Questing Druid, maybe try to find a removal spell. I find 2 very good cards, Bauble plus Urza Saga. Can't complain on that. So now I can, yeah, this was a very stupid mistake. I accidentally played the Questing Druid first, so I gave my opponent a free kill to my Questing Druid. I wanted to play this turn a bit differently, but accidentally started a turn badly, so I was forced into continuing and sacrificing my Questing Druid, but it didn't matter. I had Urza Saga, Shredder plus Asmo on the field, and it was game over. Okay, so let's check out game 2. Okay, also in this league I had slightly different sideboard. I had 1 Pride Spellbomb instead of a second Needle. So I boarded that in. Let's say the only problem with this build at the moment is I don't really have any sideboard cards for fair matchups. So against Orcish Bowmaster I bring in Ragavan, and I also bring out one or two Ledger Shredders, but I don't really have sufficiently good cards on the sideboard to replace them. But I did add here 2 Tidebinders, which are okayish, nothing special but playable, similar to Ragavan and the Shredder. Ragavan in this situation, especially on the draw, dies too easily, so probably having Tidebinder is slightly better. Tidebinder can actually kill Fable sometimes, which can be relevant. Okay, so here I got Saga and dashed my Ragavan to trade with Goblin Shaman token. This was good, no real pressure from the opponent until now. I have a lot of food on the field. Urza Saga started making these constructs, and it will be very hard for them to beat this. So basically, yeah, what I was saying, I had a lot of cards I want to trim, but not a lot of cards I want to bring in. So that may be the only problem at the moment with the current setup for sideboard. I did this intentionally because I was preparing sideboard for the unfair matchups, like Cascade decks. And I had 2 needles. I have 2 needles right now. Okay, so here my opponent uses the Colligan, bring back Bowmaster, kill my token. I didn't want to use the blast last turn. I wanted to use it when I have Soul Guide Lantern on the field, so they can't use the Undying. And yeah, now I had a large construct on the field, the Soul Guide Lantern, to take their graveyard if needed. Okay, opponent doesn't have the descent, so they just use the Molten Collapse to kill my construct. I have Inti here and a cookbook to start drawing cards with Inti. Opponent has the Bowmasters, but yeah, that's totally fine. I'm taking another 2 damage there. On 10, I have a bunch of food tokens. I can use those to gain life. So not in a big hurry to do something here. Now I also draw into Asmo, which is probably like the best card at the moment that I can draw. So here goes Asmo finding another cookbook, which is like unbeatable at the moment for my opponent. They have removal, but that is fine. I kill Bowmasters, I kill army token, and they only have 1 card right now. So I can jam a second cookbook, start making the food tokens again, draw card from the Bauble, draw card from the Lantern. I already have a pretty good hand, so no problems there. Okay, so I draw a card from the Lantern, get the Urza Saga. That's like a very powerful card to draw in this situation when opponent is struggling with draws. Okay, so opponent here actually finds a Fable. It's not easy position for opponent. I go for Urza Saga, make foods, kill the Goblin Shaman token, draw a card, gain life, and pass the turn. Opponent is in a pretty bad position, but they actually find Doughty plus another Fable from the top. That's like the best they could find in this position. So I go for the Havarmite, kill one of the Fables, and pass the turn, planning to create a construct, a very large construct token. And next turn, yeah, I threaten to end the game in 2 turns with these construct tokens. And I also have a bunch of food tokens which I can use to gain life or whatever. So opponent draws into another Doughty, but that's even that is not enough right now. They sacrifice their Goblin Shaman to actually cast my Havar Might with Doughty and kill my Urza Saga. That was a cool play by the opponent, but didn't help them much. I have Construct and Ragavan here attacking. Also Questing Druid. It's basically, if they don't top deck, this is like lethal for the next turn. I go for the Questing Druid, so I'll go for the Bolt immediately to kill their Doughty. Fetch for another red source, pass the turn. Opponent draws are not enough to survive, so that's it. I go for the Questing Druid, go for the Ragavan. Opponent concedes, and that is the match. Okay, so let's check out match 2. This was actually already match 4. I was 3-0, and with this match I was 4-0 playing for trophy actually. It was a very weird league, so I can't show the first match because it was lost because of that big crash. The MTGO had a big crash over the weekend, and the second game I was about to win, and MTGO just crashed then, so I got that actually recorded as a win. Okay, so here I was playing against Burn, and I got their Rift Bolt plus Lightning Bolt to do the Shredder ability, put them on 5 life, and opponent concedes. That was the game. So this league, yeah, this was a very crazy league, and the even crazier thing was, let's see the sideboard first. Okay, so I brought in the Spell Pierce and the Metallic Rebuke. Sometimes I also bring in one Havar Might. Decided not to do it here. It's fine. Okay, so what's even crazier in this league, I actually had to concede the last match, the trophy match. My son woke up, and I had to put him back to sleep. So when I come back, I ran out of time and I was not able to finish the match. So yeah, I was started the match and I was winning, and it was the trophy game. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that it was a sad way to lose a trophy. But yeah, just I was hoping that I'll make it back in time, but he didn't let me come back on time, and yeah, lost the trophy that way. So here against Burn, I made 2 big construct tokens, which was great against their Sanctifier, and yeah, so basically completely stopped them. They didn't have a removal for the construct, and it's a 2-turn clock, and this is game over. Opponent concedes. That is a very easy match against Burn, and as I said, I had to concede this one. So we are going to watch a few more games, 1 or 2 more games from the next league. This was also very quick, not so interesting game against a scam. Opponent had a 1-lander here, so I just played the Urza Saga and Inti here. I let opponent connect, kill my Ragavan, and then I have removal. Opponent concedes very quick. Second game was even quicker. Second game was even quicker, a lot of known games. This time I keep a 1-lander, and it's also a game against Scam. And they were like mulligan to 5 with the turn 1 Totsis. That's like pretty bad. Okay, opponent here goes for Doughty. Even with my one land hand, I can still keep going here. I decide to get rid of Doughty immediately, so I can go for the cookbook. Opponent draws into nothing. They don't have absolutely anything and concede pretty sad hand from my scam opponent. Okay, so let's check out some weird games here too. I also got one concede by opponent in this league, and I had to concede again in this one. So we are going to watch actually the only normal game I played in this entire league besides this first one, and this one was like really interesting. I played against Dimir Shadow. A very I would say this deck is decently positioned right now, performing pretty good. Okay, here I decided to discard the Daredevil. It's kind of free here. It's definitely free to discard the Daredevil, whatever happens. So I can just make a construct to bring the Daredevil back to hand, but I decide to try to go for the Shredder plus Ragavan. I wanted to play the Ragavan. I had exiled with Inti, but yeah, this didn't play out great for me because opponent had a counterspell for the Shredder plus Bowmasters for the Ragavan, so yeah, it didn't work out, but it is fine. I had another good attack with Inti, removal for the Bowmaster, exile the Otawara with Inti, and then play the cookbook. And yeah, cookbook plus Inti is obviously very powerful. Opponent gets rid of it. I still have Asmo on the field. Land exiled. I can play the land that I have exiled with Inti last turn. So I have 4 food tokens, which means I can play. I can kill this Death Shadow. Okay, so opponent goes for a counterspell on my Seek the Beast. I kill the Death Shadow in response. They play the Totsis, put themselves on 3 life, and now I can just kill the Orc army and finish the game. So that was it. Okay, let's that was game 1. Let's check out the game 2. Okay, so let's check out the sideboarding plan in this one. I'm definitely considering switching the sideboard. I expected to play a lot of against unfair decks where I need the Rebukes, the Spell Pierce, the Tidebinders, Alpine Moons, but Pithing Needles. That didn't happen that much, so I'm definitely considering adding some good stuff, cards on the sideboard for the mid-range matchups. Okay, so here opponent goes for the Grief Scam, and yeah, past the turn I had my hands were not like great here. I was thinking about what to do. I could play another Seek the Beast, but I decided to go for a tap land and just create a construct token. Opponent attacks with Grief. Opponent attacks with Grief. I go for the construct tokens. Take another cookbook. Play one of my Asmos. I can get a second cookbook, but I can't use the Asmo this turn. I'm attacking for 5, so this seemed like a pretty good position for me right now. 2 constructs and Asmo on the field, but opponent goes for the explosives, basically clear my entire board. Explosives is pretty good against Asmo and the constructs, definitely. And then they go for another Grief Scam. And yes, so this was too much, and I still had like Ragavan plus the Seek the Beast, but didn't get what I needed with Seek the Beast. So opponent actually had another Grief, so triple Grief. It was too much, and yeah, that was game 2. Let's check out game 3. Okay, so bring in, as I said, some graveyard hate, trimmed on Ragavans a bit, and that's all. Like, that's the only switch I wanted in this matchup. A deck is good as it is to fight the fair decks. Opponent goes for Preordain, passes the turn. I don't have much right now. I can go for Giganta Hand, and I do exactly that. So not very optimistic at this moment. I decide to go for the Shredder. Then before damage, do the connive ability with Shredder. My opponent decides to play Bowmaster after the connive ability for some reason, but then they play the Murktide. I was fine with Murktide. I had Otawara to bounce the Murktide, but I decided to play the Giganta first. This way I had another possibility opening up, but maybe it was better to just bounce the Murktide last turn, go for the attacks. Then the Shadow would be slightly bigger, would not have Giganta on the field. It's close, it's close. Okay, so here I went for take mana with Giganta, attack with Shredder, kill the Bowmasters. I let here opponent put me to 5 with the Shadow, and it was a tricky situation here. I can't attack with both. If I attack with both, then opponent Shadow becomes very big and they can kill me on the same turn. Okay, so opponent has 6 cards in hand, but all these cards are kind of useless. Okay, so opponent didn't want to risk anything, so they don't go for the attacks. If I draw a removal, it can be dangerous for them. So they play the Murktide and then decide to go with the Shadow. But yeah, I find I had a lethal here. My opponent actually didn't see that I have lethal anyway, so I can go equip Shadowspear on Inti and discard the card from my hand with the Inti ability. So all of my creatures are minimum of 4/4, so I had a kill even without Galvanic Blast top deck. I didn't need the top deck. My opponent didn't, I guess they didn't see it, so they attacked with Shadow. But I also draw the Galvanic Blast from the top for another way to end this. And that was the game, that was the match. And the last one last normal game, let's say, of these 2 leagues. So okay, so I think Questing Druid worked out pretty good. I was happy with it, always was happy to see it, happy to cast it, happy to cast both sides. Splash is kind of free because I want Havar Mites anyway. What was not, I was actually 4-0, as you could see. I was 4-0 in this match and I was playing for trophy, and unfortunately I had to concede the trophy match, didn't have time to finish it. So who knows what would happen, maybe I would get a trophy. When you get a trophy and the list gets posted on official accounts, then deck sees more play than just when it's in the video. But yeah, I think this archetype is getting more and more popular, and people are mostly still playing mono red. But I must say that I tried different versions and I've been like more happy with blue-red versions, even not so much with Rakdos actually, but I've been very happy with blue-red versions. So many cards you can still play here instead of Druid, for example, or instead of Galvanic Blast. There are iterations, Flame of Feiner, so Asma is actually Wizard. So at one time I played Akalpakal when it was first revealed, then later I played Tried Emery, Tidebinder. All of these guys are Wizard. The Flame of Feiner is a good card to play, but yeah, I kind of wanted to keep curve as low as possible because of the Inti ability. Inti plays so well with these cards. So yeah, I opted for this build. I really liked it, and I'm definitely going to experiment more, but this is definitely one of the builds I tried so far that I've been very happy with. And yeah, okay, so hope you liked the league, hope you liked the gameplay. It was a weird one, just a friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. I had in December, November, I had a bunch of Inti Saga videos like this one. If you watch that one, just let me know in the comments what do you feel about changes in this version in comparison to the previous ones. And what didn't work that great in this version, I think, was the sideboard. I think I want these 4 cards, but Tidebinders are definitely flex. Havar Mites, they definitely have some uses, but I would like to play additional Artifact Hate, probably like 1 or 2 Flame of Feiners. Graveyard Hate is pretty good. I don't think that maybe one Pithing Needle is enough. And since there are already a lot of removal here, like Asmo, 8 removals here, maybe like a Cursed Totem would be better as a second hate piece. I'm not sure about Alpine Moons. They're not, they're kind of very limited use at the moment for the Alpine Moons. I would maybe consider switching that too. Okay, so these are the cards on the sideboard that I'm happy with. And other 5 I think still can be changed, switched to something else. And that's it. Okay, these are my thoughts at the moment. I think this is very fun to play archetype, and getting that card advantage with Inti is very fun, and it's a cheap creature that lets you do so much. Putting counters, getting a cards advantage, together with Shredder, it's pretty nice synergy, and of course with the cookbook. So all in all, pretty low to the ground, aggressive, very synergistic deck that plays well against a lot of the fair mid-range, but also like cascade decks, like Rhinos, also this type of decks with the cheap interaction, cheap counter spells, plus Saga tutorable graveyard hate piece is hard for living end type of decks. Also, the deck has a lot of burn reach with 4 blasts, 4 bolts, and that's it. Okay, so again, thank you for watching. That's all for today, and goodbye.